Oh, yeah. Here's another one and another one. The Real Resilience Talk Podcast. I think we're on episode 46 right now. Yeah, I think it's 46. So anyone out there that's listening, I just want to tell y'all thank you. If you've shared the show, if you've gotten something from it, hit me back. Let me know. Like just, positive affirmations and or reassurance that it's going good, that it's a product out there. But whether you love it or you hate it, I'm going to keep on going with it, keep on making it, because I do know it's doing some good out there. And that's the whole intent of it, is to share things we don't know what we don't know, and share ideas and all of that good stuff. And how can we, live our best lives and, acknowledge that stuff is shitty and it sucks, and how can we make it better? So without further ado, we got a really, really cool guest. One of my best friends, a man that I love dearly, I respect, I admire. Man, y'all gonna hear me throw a whole bunch of flowers and roses on this episode. I already know it, so don't be judging me, act like I'm soft, because I am, and I represent it. But as always, this is no implied endorsement from any organization or anything like that. We are Americans using our First Amendment, speaking freely. We defend it, so we're gonna represent it and hopefully expend it, and hopefully, amongst all some of the bad words you'll probably hear me say, hopefully you hear some good words too. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I got the one, the only, the legendary. They call him Mark Allen, y'all. Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, I added some clapping to that. Look at that. Y'all see that? Oh, what?
You hear that?
What? You heard that? I'm getting fancy with it. I put on my clapping now, man. So this is my man Mark, everybody. There he is. Say hi.
Hi. What's up, world?
What's
happening,
man?
You got like a world now, man. You're on episode 46. You got a world listening right now.
Yeah, 46, dog. 46.
That's crazy,
over.
Man. That's crazy. I've been the last few months, man. I've went back and listened to a lot of your stuff, like from the beginning. Like the other night, I was listening to DJ Sippy Cup.
Sippy Cup, yeah.
I like that. You had another episode, Lady Di, I think. Lady D.
Yeah,
Di.
That's my cousin right there, man. That's my sister right there. Yep.
That's family, man. I listened to that one. So I went back and listened to a few. To kind of spin up to where we're at right now. So you've come a little ways, man. You've come a little ways.
Thank you, man. It's really, like I say, man, it was an idea, like, because we always hear the horror stories. We hear from everybody when something goes bad, when, the system fails, or, the horror stories. We hear about all of that. But I wanted to provide a platform for people that, actually maybe had a different kind of experience, or maybe it's still in the thick of the experience, or on the other side of it, and they're trying not to regress or relapse or anything like that, and then have some fucking real talk about it, like fucking honest, like about things, and say what the fuck is. And sometimes things are just horrible and they're terrible, and some days I don't want to fucking be here. I kind of grin and bear it a little bit. I try to, cognitive behavioral therapy my way through it, or exercise, or journal, or whatever the fuck it is, medication, all of the above, and try to make it better, but to share that with other people and to let them know, like, these are some, I have had, every human that's been on the show with me has been good people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And they
Absolutely.
good people trying to figure it out too. So that's the idea of it, right? And it's all about resilience. Like, what is resilience? How do we maintain it? How do you sustain it? How do you not lose it? Because I do think things can atrophy if you don't use them, right? So just jumping off to the scripted side of it, because I only asked that one scripted question. Speaking of resilience, what is resilience to you, Mike?
Hey, I'm not going to kick resilience until I hear your definition of Rocky 97. Right now.
Yeah. Rocky,
let's hear
episode Rocky 7 or 9 or whatever it was in the street. He's standing there with his son. I told y'all this. This was resilience is to me. Everybody, it's about how you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. All right, so that's me. And everybody's like, damn, I had to hear that shit again. He requested it. I wasn't going to say it this time.
That's right. I heard DJ Sippy Cup kick it when he was on the show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, man, I thought about that question, and a lot of your episodes, of course, every one of your episodes, somebody gives a definition. And I was thinking, I was like, I don't really have a definition per se, but there's something I've used throughout my career, and I've always told individuals that's been around me is I always say, be crabgrass. And the reason I say be crabgrass, man, everybody wants to be a rose. Everybody wants to be pretty. Everybody wants to be looked at. Everybody wants to take good selfies. Everybody wants to be pruned in the right sunshine, the right soil, all that stuff. That's what a rose needs. It needs all those things. But the reality is, man, just be crabgrass. Crabgrass don't need nothing, bro. It needs a little bit of oxygen, maybe a little bit of sunlight. It'll grow in a parking lot. It'll grow on a sidewalk. You can pluck it from the backyard and throw it in the woods, and it'll grow in the woods. So I've always said, man, be crabgrass. And I think when I'm thinking about the question you were going to ask about resilience, I was like, dude, it's being crabgrass. It's being crabgrass. I don't need nothing. I need a little bit of oxygen, a little bit of sunlight. I'm going to find my way. I'm going to find it through concrete. I'm going to find it through asphalt. I'm going to find it through the yard. I'm going to find it in the woods, whatever. So that's my definition per se, is just be crabgrass, man.
Man, I ain't never heard no definition like that. That's some good shit. Like, you got me thinking about getting crabgrass tattoos now and shit. Yeah. Like, I don't. No, on some real shit though. Like that is very deep, and because crabgrass is similar to like water. Like, you know, like how does water pierce through rock? Like through being persistent. And I'm telling you what, you done said it. Like crabgrass don't need much to get by, and it will grow and it don't stop. That's a real cool definition, man. I like that. What's your background and what brings you on the show today, man?
What brings me on the show, man, is you, bro. Crazy. We met in 2000, probably 6, 7 time frame. Back when we was kicking it per se, and
trying to, I was.
And then you fast forward, man, and we kind of lost contact in a sense, and that's just what happens over life. And we, both chasing the careers in the Marine Corps, and ran into you a couple of years ago out in Iwakuni, Japan. I was out in Okinawa, happened to be in Iwakuni, ran into you there. Just blew my mind, man, to see where you were at in your career. I mean, heck, both of us have made it somewhere in our careers. So, and then seeing what you're doing with life, man, that's the biggest thing. I think that's what really drew us together over the last couple years, is we both have the same mindset, the same drive, the same passion, the same grit about mental health. The rip the curtain down, man. I always say it's like the Wizard of Oz. Everybody thinks there's this great and mighty Oz, and then they get there, and it's this little dude talking in a microphone. So that's rip it down, man. Let's. And I've always respected you for the fact that me and you, the conversations we've had, there ain't been no curtain, and that's what really brought me on here. And then recently retired. Did 23 years Marine Corps. Recently retired.
And thank you.
Yeah, so now I'm out. I'm on the other side.
He's out, y'all. He's out. He got out. Like the zoo animals and inmates. We're the only ones that get out besides them.
Yeah, that's right. I'm Shawshank Redemption over here. I got this stuff called time now. That's what we all want. We all are like, man, we can't wait till we got time, man. We can't wait till we got all this time. Man, the reality is time sucks, bro. Like, people ask, what is it that you miss? I'm gonna be 100 with you when I tell you I don't miss the Marine Corps. That's 100. I don't miss the Marine Corps. I've been ain't no strings on me, Like, I'm good. I don't miss the Marine Corps. But what I do miss is the structure, the purpose, and a sense of belonging. Those three things are huge, man. And I think that's what I miss per se. So yeah.
No,
I don't think that answered your question, but I said something.
No, it was good. No, it was real good. I definitely like what you said. What you said, I got this new thing, time. But that could be, I was listening to that Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, and she was talking about this Air Force colonel that was talking about suicide prevention and things of that nature, and that sometimes the last thing people need is like time off. Right.
Boy.
I just remember hearing that, because that's always the thing, like as a boss or as a supervisor, you always want to be like, hey, give your people your time off. Actually, in today's world, man, sometimes that's the worst thing you can actually gift them. And that just brings it to my mind, because you said time, because we get too much time to dwell, too much time to ruminate, to think, to overthink. And I think I've read enough to know that depression is sometimes a sign of intelligence, right? Like really stupid fucking people aren't too depressed. They're just walking around like, yo, everything good. I just eat shit and I go sleep. You know what I mean? Like they don't really, but like it's a double-edged sword, because you overthink, you overanalyze, you catastrophize in your head, and that's where we go down a spiral, right? Whereas a stupid motherfucker just walk around like, yeah, okay, wind blew, I'm blown too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just living the dream.
All my happy people in the world, no diss to you. I'm just saying.
That's
really
that's
are.
them happy. That's them happy people at the front gates be like, hey, just living the dream. Just living the dream.
Living the dream. Are
Ain't
you?
no dream.
Are you?
No, absolutely not.
You? It was a dream at one time, standing on a black line saying, "I sir, I ma'am." But there's context there, right? And that might be him just waking up like, "Oh, sunshine, okay," and that's good. That's good. Like we got to find beauty in the simple things. So don't hear me wrong, people. Like I'm shitting on gratitude and mindfulness and the little things in life because they matter. I'm just saying that if you are intelligent, you got to be careful with how far you push your intelligence. Isn't that convenient? I'm over here saying I'm intelligent, right? But you can overthink shit, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, time's a scary thing. That's real talk. And I wanted it, and I couldn't wait to have it. But man, it's scary. We need structure, and you say it all the time on your show, on social media. You know, you talk about people need people. Humans need humans, and we do, and that's the reality. Like I don't even like humans, but I need humans. So yeah, man, I think that's big, man. It's time's tough when you got too much of it on your hands, and we need structure and we need people. But yeah, I don't know where you want to go, Cam. I don't know where you want to go, man. I'm an open book, bro.
You know, I don't press, man. I said, what's your background? Where's home?
Home is West Virginia.
Right now. West Virginia.
Home's West Virginia. Yep. You just
had
a guest.
I've had a couple of fucking guests from West Virginia. You know, I got kin that come from there, and I'm like, they fucking pulling me back in episode by episode. This isn't planned. It just happens to be, y'all.
Yeah, man. You just had a guest on there from West Virginia.
Yes, I did. And
I'll be Miss Becca, just so she knows, I've already got the lizard thicket locked into my Google Maps.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah, bro. I'll be in Columbia once college football starts. I'm in Columbia watching them Gamecocks play, man, and I've already got the lizard thicket. Yeah. That's it. I got the lizard thicket.
Donnie Brasco told us about it on the episode before last, episode 44, y'all. Lizard
yeah.
thicket.
But I think Meatloaf's on Wednesdays, and college football don't play on Wednesdays. Yeah, so I might have to figure out something different. Yeah. Yeah, man. Originally grew up in West Virginia, man. Did a big family, man. Six kids. I was the oldest of the six. Grew up and we didn't have much, man. Not much at all growing up. Lived in a little teeny tiny armpit of the world in West Virginia, a little coal town. And man, I remember when I was about 6 or 7 years old, I was playing probably T-ball, little league. I don't know what it was. It wasn't much because we didn't know what we were doing. But I remember I saw a Marine, man, for the first time, and I just had to talk to him. Like, I don't know what it was about him. I had to talk to him. And I remember I talked to him. He told me, at the next game he'd bring me something. Next game he brought me a poster and a sticker. And that was it, bro. I was sold. My mom told me, she's like, that was one of the most powerful posters and pieces of propaganda I'd ever seen in my entire life. She's like, when you unrolled that poster, I knew I lost you forever. And that was it. I was hooked. About 6 or 7 years old.
Wow. So,
yeah, man.
And how long was that conversation for? Because I was just having a talk with somebody yesterday, and they were like, how's a 30-minute conversation going to change somebody's life? And I was like, well, it could. But how long was that transaction?
Man, that transaction was just him walking. And he didn't have to talk to me. He didn't have to talk to me. And the funny thing is, man, if I take that same story, bro, and I fast forward it, and it's funny, like I fast forward it. Like I've always had this story of how I joined the Marine Corps, 6 years old, 7 years old, saw a Marine, boom, dream, followed my dream. And I'm in some therapy just a couple of years ago, and I'm talking about, me joining the Marine Corps. And the therapist asked me, she was like, well, how was it? When you saw this individual, what did you see? And I was like, it was the way he carried himself. It was the way he walked. It was the way he demanded attention. It was the way his uniform looked. Like everything about him just screamed like, I'm it, I guess, in a sense. And so I'm trying to explain that to her, and she just stopped me. And like a good therapist, bro, took my dream right out my hands and squished it. You know what she told me?
What was that?
She said, it wasn't that you saw him like that. What you saw is an escape from your life. And you knew that was a way out. And it was a way to start over and become somebody else besides the person that you were, even that young in your life. And man, she hit the nail on the head because there was some trauma in my life at a young age. And when I started putting all the pieces together in that conversation with her, the dream died, bro. And and it was like, you're right, man. That was my escape. That was my way out. And that was a way to hit the reset button and become whatever I wanted to be in that uniform.
How'd that work out?
I guess it worked out fine. I did about 23 years worth of it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, man.
I'm sitting there holding your coin, man, and I love it because but you stay consistent on this. Stay true to yourself and just be a good human. You know, you get these challenge coins, folks, while in the military, and it's actually hit the pop culture now with these challenge coins and shit. You see them everywhere now. I mean, there's like this. It's like how people have baseball card sessions. They have like challenge coin sessions now and shit. I'll be seeing it, but I only keep ones that people give me. That's all I do. And if I don't get it gifted, but you gifted me one, and stay true to yourself and just be a good human, you know.
Yeah, man.
And yours is a big ass belt buckle too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was designed off some ultra running, man. Another crazy story in life. But yeah, the Marine Corps worked out well for me. And you know, when we talked about coming on the show, and you asked me, do I have a stage name? Do I have a name I want to go by or something like that? And I said, yeah, man, it's Mark Allen. And it's taken me.
I was like, that's your government name, dog. What the fuck? Like, yeah, I want that shit. I was like, all right, tight.
You know, man, but it's taken me 23 years to accept Mark Allen.
Oh.
And I say that because I've said this throughout my career, you know, and I'm going to talk just like you talk, you know, specifically based around the Marine Corps, because that was my career. Yeah. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what job field you're in, what company, what organization, whatever. But from the military perspective, the day you hit the yellow footprints from a Marine Corps, they tell you straight up right there and then, when you get off that bus, when you get out the van, when you get out, whatever it is, they tell you pretty much everything that you were, erase it. You are now aboard, and you are now called.
That's right.
And you're the rank and last name. And so for years, man, at that moment, I kind of buried Mark, and I became Allen. And so for years, Allen was the dude, man. Allen was the one that would grind. Allen was the one that had the grit. Allen was the one that would face the dark. Allen was the one that would fight the demons. Allen was that dude. Mark was the guy that I wanted to be, per se, you know. And I was in some therapy a couple years ago, man. Another therapist, bless their hearts. He always referred to me as Mark Allen, and it kind of made me mad at first. Like, man, like, you don't know me like that. You don't call me Mark Allen. Like,
but he wouldn't say Mark or Allen. He would just say Mark Allen.
That's it, whole name.
Okay, all right.
And what he was doing was letting me know that's who you are, man. There's no separation in them two people. There's no Allen. There's no Mark. You Mark Allen, and that's who you are. And man, it hit me hard. And during that therapy, we had to do some letter writing. And in the very beginning of the therapy, I wrote a letter to Mark, to like little young Mark.
That little 6 or 7 year old Mark.
That little dude, man. That little
How
dude,
the fuck
man.
You strike out a T-ball? What the fuck? I was that kid too. It's okay.
Ain't even got a picture. Man. But yeah, I had to write a letter to Mark, man, and we even had to do these, like, I remember I had to sit in a seat and had to talk to an empty seat, and the empty seat was little Mark, and I had to have a conversation with myself, and man, it was tough and it was real, and then I had to also write a letter to Alan. But by the end of the therapy, and this was a few weeks, man, that went through, at the end of that therapy, man, the letter I wrote to Alan at the end compared to the letter I wrote at the beginning, night and day. And what I realized is, and I think a lot of us can see this and relate to this, is throughout our Marine Corps careers, throughout our military careers, we do become that last person. Only our close family, our close friends kind of know us by our first name, per se. And we kind of do separate. We kind of separate our lives in a sense. But man, the letter I wrote to Alan was in a sense of like, I appreciate you. I needed you through them dark times. I needed you when I couldn't get up in the mornings. I needed you to push me. I needed you to be there when I couldn't be there. And I appreciate you for that. But you know what? Now it's time to give you a little bit of a break. I'm not putting you away. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a break, and it's time to be Mark Allen. And we're going to do this together, not one or the other. If that makes sense. Hope it makes sense.
No, it does. No, it does, because I get it now, like the Mark Allen and what he was trying to reinforce, because I think I heard from a very smart lady I served with, Dot Sandy. She had said, it takes us 7 times to hear something, plus or minus 2, for it to actually stick. So that reiteration confirms, just on a scientific level, that you hear Mark Allen, Mark Allen, Mark Allen, Mark Allen, instead of you just being marked as this, child and this person that was before the core, and then Allen is straight grind. I mean, anybody doesn't know the significance of it, but when I first met this man, I was a brand new Nicky New Boots, brand new drill instructor, and this man was a sergeant senior. So we were the same rank, but he was like on a whole new level, right? Like if he had a black belt as a sergeant. No, I'm not trying to stroke you. I'm just saying the dichotomy, like the hierarchy of such a place of Paris Island, that yes, we were both sergeants. I mean, you've been in like a little bit longer than me, but like wasn't too much difference there, except for your time on the depot and your time making Marines was much more senior to me. And in that time, man, people didn't always treat people good, but I will say you always treated people. You demanded, you were firm, you were fair, but you treated people good. I never felt like I got dogged out by any of y'all. Like I've heard a lot of the horror stories. Obviously, there was the ebb and flow, Paris Island and the egos and all that kind of stuff, but you was always a good dude. But at the same time, like, hey, you suck, get better. You know what I'm saying? Like firm but fair. That firmness, that fairness, but that fairness, and I appreciated that. But you needed Allen at that point.
Yeah, man. And that's, it's crazy to think that and for those that don't know, man, it's the first time I've said this out loud, like public forum, is a lot of my guys as close to me knew it. Some of my Marines knew it. But actually next month makes 2 years. September 13th is 2 years that I got checked in and admitted to inpatient therapy. And I spent 30 days.
You went somewhere residential.
Yep. I went to a program out in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I flew all the way from Okinawa, Japan to Salt Lake City, Utah. And was with a program called Strong Hope. And I'll give them the shout out, man, because they absolutely saved my life and many others. And I did 30 days in the inpatient treatment. And when I say inpatient, I mean like the nitty gritty inpatient, dog. Like it was a military hospital, so it was all active duty patients in the program called Strong Hope. However, all the doctors, nurses, everyone else, it's all civilian, man. It's all civilian. Phenomenal program, but I spent 30 days there, man, and it was legit inpatient. Like before I left, I had to cut the strings out my shorts, had to buy some Skechers slip-ons with no laces, like all those good things. And it was intense, man. Like no phones, no nothing. So I was completely disconnected from the world. But the reason I say that piece is to back up, man, and to go into the dark and thick that we talk about with this with the therapy side of it. I did a lot of therapy, bro. A lot of therapy. And a lot of my stuff came from Paris Island, and that's just real talk. A lot of my stuff came from Paris Island. A lot of my dark days came from Paris Island. I went through a tough divorce down there. I went through alcohol there. I went through suicide attempt down there. A legit attempt, like an attempt. And about, it was like 11 o'clock at night, 2300, and it didn't work out like I had planned. And at 3:30 the next morning, the lights was coming on and I was running. So there was no processing what just happened in my life. And that's when I really buried Mark, man. That was 2005, 2006 when I really buried Mark. And I was like, all right, Marine Corps, you want Allen? I'm going to give you Allen for the rest of my life. And that's who you got. And I say all that to say, man, when I talk about the inpatient piece, is I went through a lot of therapy from 2005, 6, let's say 2006, all the way up until just a couple of years ago. But here's the thing I think we need to address is it's easy to manipulate a lot of therapy. And I say that by saying it was easy for me to know that I was going into the appointment. It wasn't going to be no longer than an hour, no matter what appointment I went to, 45 minutes to an hour. That was it. I was going to go in. I kind of guided the discussion. I could kind of lead where I wanted to go with it. I didn't have to, per se, hear what they wanted me to say. I could guide it. I go back out to my car, my truck, whine in my feelings for a minute. But guess what I got on, dog? I got that mask. I got that uniform.
Yeah.
So I got to go back to work. And I got to be strong when I go back to work. So I just bury it. I'd hide behind that mask. And a couple of years ago, man, I realized when my retirement was approved that guess what's got to happen with that mask? Got to come off, dog.
Yeah.
It's got to come off. You got to face life. You got to face reality. You got to face yourself. And that's the scariest part, is facing yourself. And luckily, man, I had a therapist in Okinawa. Absolutely phenomenal, man. Like over the years, I'd hit therapy up for a month, 2 months. Then I'd kind of not go. Then I'd go years of that. And I had a therapist in Okinawa, man. Absolutely phenomenal. She hit me one day straight blunt, and she just said, "What are you here for? What do you want?" And I went to talk, and she was like, "No, shut up."
Okay.
She's like, "No." She's like, "You've been coming through therapy for how long?" She's like, "I've got notes back all the way to 2007 time frame. What do you want? What are you looking for? What can't we fix?" And man, at first I'm pissed, you know, like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this is my show. This is my. I come to see you.
Right.
And she told me, she's like, "It's over. The session's over. Go home. Think about this question, and at our next session, answer it."
Damn. But that's speaking our language, though. That's
man.
That's that firm, fair, direct right there.
That's what I needed. Like, that's what I needed. And I did, man. I went home, and first I bitched to my wife about it. Like, you ain't gonna believe what she said.
Yeah.
and my wife looked at me with that look of like, I've been saying it. I've been saying it.
Oh, now you want to listen to somebody? I asked you that a few times over now. But
that's right. Now,
it hit in that moment.
It hit, man. And I came back, man. And the reality is, I was at the highest rank I could possibly be at. I was at the peak of my career. I was at a unit that I started. Like, the unit I retired from was the exact same unit that was my very first duty station in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Like, super cool, super unique opportunity. Full circle, bro. So you would think that my life was coasting. And the reality was it wasn't, man. It was scary. And I came back to her our next session, and she asked me, she's like, "You thought about the question?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I said, "I need something more." I was like, "I need something more." I was like, "The problem is I have the session with you. I go to my car. Everything that you told me, everything that I told you, I bury it. I hide it. I put it in the back room, put the padlock on the room, doors closed, and I move on. What I need is a place where I talk about my feelings. I talk about my emotions. I talk about my demons. I talk about the dark. I go to bed. I wake up, and I got to talk about it again. And there's nowhere to hide.
And nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide, dog. No mask, no nothing. And I need to be somewhere where I can get that type of treatment." And she offered inpatient therapy. And I immediately broke down, started crying, because that scared me. But the reality was, man, I knew what I needed. And I remember when I first checked in, the question got asked to me is, from the therapist there, was, "Why are you here?" And these are the 3 reasons, man. The 3 reasons. She said, "Why are you here?" And I said, "I'm scared of 3 things. When I retire, I'm scared of 3 things. I'm scared of suicide. I'm scared of alcohol. And I'm scared of divorce. Those are the 3 things that scare me. Because I don't know who I'm going to be when the uniform comes off." And that was real talk. And that was real. You had Brad on here the other day, man. Listen to Brad's episode. He talked about the suicide piece. And, man, it hit home. And it's crazy. He talked about, where he had his attempt. He got put in some inpatient therapy. And then he found a letter from when he was young that he wrote a letter about suicide.
Yeah.
Bro, like, suicide's one of those things, man, that once it's crossed your mind and once you've got to that point where you're thinking about taking your own life,
Yep.
you don't just wake up the next day and you don't think about it no more.
Fact. Yeah.
Like, it stays with you, man. It stays with you, and it's always an option.
Yeah,
like, it's always an option.
That's real. It's like a heat case. Like now you're more prone to it or something.
Yeah, like being knocked out.
Not like an absolute, but like now it's not like it's one of the very few things, unlike resilience, where like you do grow through it, you get stronger and things like that. But you're right. Now it's become a viable option in your head that before it wasn't one of the bubbles.
Absolutely not.
That's deep. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, and when I looked and I heard Brad's conversation, and you got me on that 1 degree of separation. You had talked about it, the show prior, and I went and Googled him, looked him up, and when I heard his story, I was like, dude, he hit the nail on the head. I was a kid, man. I was a kid. I used to talk about killing myself, running away, disappearing. Nobody can find me. Find a hole and just fall in it.
Yeah.
And when you're that dark, man, that don't go away. You can put all the Band-Aids you want on it.
Yeah.
But the wound's still there.
Yeah. We do that too. We do that. We put Band-Aids on shit that requires surgery sometimes. We put a whole bunch of biofreeze on it and put Band-Aids, but it's like, nah, you gotta get underneath the surface. And it seems like, and I'm just metaphorically drawing this, like when you went to these sessions before, it was little Band-Aids, it was little, biofreeze or whatever, right? But you really wasn't getting to the structural depth of it because you're just scratching surface, if even that, and then going back to hiding, going back to putting on the armor and not acknowledging it, but it's still there. And it's just like that's where I've kind of come up with too. And I know everybody's probably sick of hearing me say it, but like if you don't deal with your shit, it deals with you. And then
100%.
The other people, it bleeds onto them, right? And I read something today. Somebody said trauma is made up by society, and I couldn't disagree more because you can't tell that to somebody who's been through some shit. You know what I mean? But you got to do something with it. Right? Like it's not a social construct. It's fucking happened. And now what? Right? And if you don't deal with it smartly, like I was reading something yesterday, this lady was like, even when you be like people that be picking a lot and people that be like, like kind of like fidgety and shit like that, that can be a sign, not directly, but that can be results of trauma and like that nervous energy that, so if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. Whether it's through that or whether it's through the lack of, the potential that you could be or would be or should be to those that are around you. And that's where to me, I flip it on the head to where, like, for me, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll die tomorrow. I don't care. I really don't care about me, to be honest with you. But is the me I'm being for others? How's that working out? And then, a lot of us just bleed onto others and we, put that trauma on other people, and you can fuck around and be Will Smith at the Oscars and slap Chris Rock. You know what I mean? And that's no judgment to him because I've done that in life many a times in other forms.
Yeah, that's what man. I go back to referencing Brad again, just because he has a very powerful message. And I relate with him a lot, and it was crazy listening to him on the podcast, other than listening to him on stage. And one of his questions is, "What does depression feel like to you?" And sitting in that therapy, man, that was one of the questions we would get asked is, where do you feel it right now? Mm-hmm. Where do you feel it? And we would literally have sessions, man, where you would sit in this room and they would just kind of turn the lights down dim. They'd play some music, like soft music, and they'd start to ask you, where's it at? And you'd be like, okay, I can feel it in my chest. Or I carry it on my shoulders. I stay tense in my neck. Like, I always feel like I'm always tight. My jaws hurt because I'm exhausted because I've been clenching all night long. I wake up in the morning and I feel like I got in a fight last night and all I did was go to bed. Well, that's because all night long, man, you're laying there and you're squeezing your hands, your toes are flexing, like your muscles are stressed because you're going to bed with that trauma, you're going to bed with that depression, you're going to bed with those issues. And I'm not saying that my journey's anywhere finished. Dude, I'm still on the journey every single day. But I'm able to identify these things. And I think that's kind of what Brad talked about, was being able to identify. And that's what therapy did, man. Therapy really gave me the identification to say, hey, you know what? And like Brad was saying, like I can tell my wife. And I tell her, man, straight up, hey, like today's going to suck. It's going to be real. I don't feel like doing shit today. I don't feel like going anywhere today. I don't even really want to be around you today, to be honest with you. And it takes a strong woman to listen to all that.
Yeah. And they'd be like, motherfucker.
But she gets it. And the hard part is, man, I got a 13-year-old little girl. That's my world. And if I talk about her too much, you're going to see some emotions. But that little girl, man, I don't hide nothing from her. Because life sucks, man. And life's going to punch you in the face. Just like Rocky said. So I don't hide nothing from her, man. I don't give her all the nitty-gritty details. But she knows, like, okay, Dad, you having one of them days, Dad? Yeah, I'm having one of them days. All right. And she'll kind of give me a side hug, just kind of touch me a little bit, and then she rolls. And she'll come check on me, or she'll come see how things are going. And I think that's important, man. I think it's important that we be real with our loved ones. You got to be careful, though. It's a balance.
Right?
you be
I don't
too
even know
real.
what that B word is. Yeah. Keeping it real goes wrong.
Yeah. That balance can get sketchy. But the reality is, man, when I did that, I talk about that inpatient therapy. You know, I'm over in Okinawa, Japan. I'm getting ready to fly all the way back to Salt Lake City, Utah. Never been to Utah. I'm scared. I'm panicking. But we talk about be careful what you tell your loved ones and balance. I threw all that shit out the window, and my wife driving me to the airport, and I remember I told her, I was like, look, I'm willing to lose everything. I'm willing to lose everything, to include you, to find me. And I divulged a lot of stuff to her, man. I divulged a lot of deep. I divulged a lot of dark. I divulged a lot of things. And I ended it with that. It was like, I'm willing to lose everything to find me. And then I get on a plane and fly all the way across the world, and I'm in Utah with no phone. So,
oh shit! So you just left talk about a cliffhanger, or wait till the next episode. Ellipses, the ultimate 3 dots.
Yeah, I didn't know she was going to be there when I got back. You know, I didn't know she was still going to be in Okinawa. I thought she might have just went ahead and flew back home and started Melody in a different school. But
yeah.
But she's resilient, man. You talk about resilience. A lot of our significant others, a lot of our spouses, a lot of our families, they're resilient, man. They're resilient. And she stood strong for me, man. She stood strong the whole time I was there, supported me while I was there, held it down the home front while I was there. No cell phone. You could use your cell phone, but it was only to pay bills. You had to do it in front of your therapist. That was it. Oh, yeah. We had 2 phones. They were both landlines. And it was like being in boot camp having free time. Like, you was only allowed to use those phones at a certain time in the evening. And that was it.
But you couldn't use it for what we would want to use a phone for, which is to contact people. It was to do administrative taskers and shit.
Yeah, that was your cell phone. And then they had a landline, and you could use that landline, but only certain hours of the day. And you could use the landline to call home, call family, call friends. Yeah. But, man, it was just a phenomenal program.
So it wasn't zero contact the whole time?
No.
Okay, all right.
But you on a landline right there in the common area. The common area.
With everybody else. Yeah, common area.
That's right,
yeah.
everybody else.
Like you at the phone center in Camp Geiger in 1990s.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, and they got the TV. Yeah. They got the TV on the wall. TV's got plexiglass in front of it, so you can't break it. You can't take shrapnel from it. Dude, we couldn't even close our doors, bro. Couldn't even close the doors. Because of the fear of what would go, what you could do to yourself behind that closed door. Yeah,
because you're tapping into obviously some real stuff, and that's one thing that people don't. I don't think I appreciate it or realized when it comes to seeking help, that sometimes things get worse before it gets better because you go down certain places and certain things that you've negated or you've done at convenient times. Like my guy, Dr. Tom, I'm gonna look at his card right now. I love you, Tom. He's the man. Hey, actually, Tom, he sent me this. You see this little guy right here? Look at this. You see that right there?
A little turtle.
Yeah, little baby turtle coming out of the shell. I love that guy. He gave me them little Prozacs and put me on Prozac, so that's cool. But there's no shit. But one thing he told me, he's like, when we had these sessions or whatever, and later on, if you go down these dark roads, these dark alleys, you can go down them, Cam, but don't go down them by yourself, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, okay. That metaphor just made sense to me to say, all right, so if I'm gonna go down that shitty area or path in my head, my whatever, my neural pathways, whatever you want to call it, the science of it, I go down there, but I go down there with you together, and then we're going to come out together, right? But I can see with such intensive inpatient treatment, you're probably tapping into some shit that you, the others, everyone, and it could, hopefully you'll get to a better place, but initially it may bring out the worst in somebody. So I can understand why they'd have open doors, having, all of that supervision, because you're tapping into some intensive things. It's literally called intensive inpatient,
Yep, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it was, I love it though, man. it's crazy. I got a few of the guys that I stay in contact with. We're still in contact. Text a couple of them just the other day. And it's crazy to have a place that taboo in a sense, inpatient therapy, that taboo, for us to still contact each other. And our text messages usually just say like, man, I miss Strong Hope. Man, I miss being in that place. And I think when we said that, it was because it was such a safe place. We were living in a bubble in a sense. And everybody around us was going through the same things. And the reality is, man, we're all going through it every single day. Everybody around us. You say you give the Robin Williams quote all the time.
Yep.
And there's so many facts in that, man. We're all going through it. We just don't know it. And we're afraid to ask the other person. That's it. You don't want to ask the other person, or you don't want somebody to ask you. And if they do, it's I'm fine.
Yep.
That's an easy write-off.
Good to go. Living a dream.
Write-off. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we're scared, man. We're scared to say the hard things. And I will say right now, man, the most powerful place I've ever been in my entire life. And I've been 23 years in the Marine Corps. I've done a lot of cool stuff, man. I've done some weird things outside the Marine Corps, between ultra running, bodybuilding, anything I can possibly think of to tap into the mind and the body. The most powerful place I've ever been in my entire life was in group therapy, straight up. Sitting in a room with the doors closed, in a half circle of chairs and one therapist, and having people tell their story. It don't get no more powerful than that, man, because you see the brokenness, and you see people broken open. And if we could see more of that, I think there'd be more passion in the world. There'd be more love in the world. There'd be more willingness to help others in the world. But we don't get to see that. We put the mask on. We show up. We do our job, no matter what our job is. We go home, and that's where the mask comes off, when we come home.
Yeah, or if you just stifle it all the time, you are that person that's coming out in your sleep. And how you clench your fist all night. And I woke up in the middle of the night screaming before. There's times I've waken up and I patrol my house. I don't think anybody's there, but I'm ready if they are, motherfucker. I'm clearing rooms and shit. Like,
hey, just in case, dog.
That sounds stupid, but hey, just in case, you'll never know. Catch me slipping, dog.
At least 2 people listening to your podcast laughed at that just now.
Yeah, because they identify, because it's the truth and humor and truth. Like, I ain't the only one that be clearing rooms and shit at 3 a.m. and 2 a.m. And they'd be like, should I stay up and be David Goggins and go run? Probably not, but I'm about to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess it manifests itself in maybe that way, or in, the way you slip at people, or, hurt people, man. But I also do believe that, and I've said this before, hurt people that are healed can help people. And
yeah, man.
And,
I think,
superheroes, you hear about the superheroes and the villains, they always got something in common. The backstory is always involved with pain, but the superhero or the villain says, I'm going to make other people feel what I felt. And then the superhero says, I'm going to make sure nobody else hurts like this again, right? Like, none of the superheroes, once I heard that from somebody I work with, Doc Ives, talked about the superhero metaphor, and I was like, damn, you're so right, dude. Like, none of them have a good fucking story. Like, none of them. Like, none of them have a good story at all. It's always something dark, something bad, and, you can go down the line on it, but are you going to choose to be that villain, or are you going to choose, what are you going to do with it now that it's there, right? And we get to answer that every single moment of our lives, not just day by day or year by year. It's moment by moment. Like, and the thing is, like you said, other people are fucking hurting too. Like, there's times people say some shit to me, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like, I can't read comments on some things. I can't do it. But sometimes I'll get certain things said to me or brought to me, and bro, I'm like hanging on by a thread, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta know where to, I make art and I do things because I do it and I put it out, and that's just what it is. But if I went down the rabbit hole and read every comment or everybody's opinion of me, oh man, not good. Like, and that's not because I'm so concerned with everybody else, just because I'm fucking sensitive as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so fucking sensitive. I heard a comment the other night. I was at a stand-up show. Shout out to the awesome Miss Angie. I went and saw her in person the other night and performed. But one of the comics was talking about being with a cancer, and I'm like, and how hard it is because the motherfucker's so sensitive and emotional. I look over at my wife and she's like, I'm a Gemini, motherfucker. I'm a Cancer all day. But the thing is, like, everybody around us is hurting, dog. And I got tired of feeling like I was hurting others, you know? And so, like, I know the session is, you know, when she checked you like that, but was there like a turning point for you of similar nature or something where you like, yo, like, nothing changes if nothing changes. I got to change some shit up. Like, did you have that moment to yourself? Or was it just always lingering there?
I think I knew it. I knew it for a long time. I just didn't want to make the time. I didn't want to face the humility and drop, you know, and have to drop my pride and say I needed help. I preached it. Oh, dude, I preached it. There ain't nobody in my career that can say I didn't preach it. I've gotten anybody I can get help. I'm all about it, 100% all the time, but I didn't live it. And I think that was what really hit me was, you know, I talk this big talk and I talk all these things, but the reality is 9 times out of 10 when I'm having a conversation with that individual in front of me, reality was I was pretty much talking to myself. I was having a conversation with what I wish I would listen to, in a sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But a lot of times it was just me talking to me, but I was trying to get that individual some help. But I wouldn't seek it myself. I would seek just enough until I got uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once I was a little bit uncomfortable, I was out. So when I say, like, she checked me like that, she knew me, though. I mean, she knew me enough to check me. You know, it wasn't like my second session and she hit me, but
she's like, I'm gonna see if this motherfucker can take it. Like, because there's definitely judgment with that, right? Like, there's judgment. I think even Brad was talking about on our last episode. He's talking about the lady that he knew that was a family friend that was gonna jump off a bridge, and he was like, "You need to that's the bridge." Like, it was hilarious, but he obviously knew the person he was talking to wasn't just some random person that was suicidal. So if you're having like a SIS training, might not be the time to apply such measures. But he knew the individual, just like this therapist, this doctor knew you well enough to know he could take this, and actually this is probably how I'll resonate with him and get through to him is by checking him. Yep.
She'd been with me enough. We had been down every road that we could possibly go down, and she knew. But one thing we used to say, and I think this is important. I'm gonna hit 2 points, and I'll shut up. Is like, one, when I was in that inpatient therapy, man, it was a continuous thing. It wasn't like 15 people show up, 15 people go for 30 days, and then 15 people graduate. It was continuous, which I thought was really cool because you had people coming in as you saw people going out. And when people would come
Vietnam
in,
shit, like platoon, like, oh, fresh meat. Oh, you about to go. He about to be out of the Nam, bro. Okay. Instead of like, we're all going together and coming back together. Okay, that makes sense.
No, one at a time. So you get to see people like graduate in a sense. You get to see people which created mentors as well. So it was great. But what would happen, man, these guys would come in. It's all active duty. There's no rank. There's no service. But it's all active duty. Like, a lot of dudes didn't know the rank that I was. And I'm kicking it with one of the E3s. And he's like, wait a minute, I heard you were an E9? And I was like, nah, dude, I'm Mark. Like, that's who we are here. But one thing we'd always say, and it kind of became an ongoing joke, but I've taken this from there and I've carried it with me, is people would check in and be like, hey, what's up, man? So here we go back to that, what you in here for? Like, just like we getting out. You'd be like, hey, what you in here for, big dog? And it was always like, PTSD, suicide, alcohol, whatever the case may be. And he'd be like, nah, you're here because your childhood sucked.
Ooh.
You're here because you had a tough childhood. You're here because you got trauma from days you ain't dealt with.
Damn.
And man, and it was real because, again, I go to the military because that's what I am. And I use the military to bury all the trauma. Mm-hmm. I got to start over, man. I got to become recruit, PFC, sergeant, master gunnery sergeant, Allen. Nobody had to know Mark because we only asked 2 questions using the Marine Corps. 1, where you from?
That's it.
You hit them with where you from. 2, where'd you go to boot camp? That's kind of the 2 questions.
Yeah. You're right. That's very fair. Now that doesn't mean nobody digs deeper and tries to get to know the people better. But
I'm talking about
value,
the
At a
The
face
quick
value,
conversation.
that's usually, it's always going to be, where'd you go to boot camp or where you from? And usually you already know the answer to that because they said I'm from Virginia or I'm from Cali, and you already know San Diego or Parris Island. But that's very fair fitting, man. And you know what, though? It's that double-edged sword, though. It's that balance, because that's also part of the beauty of it is that you get an opportunity to have a clean slate. And
100%.
it's like you do these things, and all your basic fundamental hierarchy and needs are met, right? And, housing and shelter and food and nutrition, and even socially, you're there with everyone. You have a sense of belonging. You have all the basic tenets of like Maslow's hierarchy and needs are met.
Hey, you don't know how spoiled you are until you out.
Oh man, I can only imagine, right? But you also, I think a lot of people take it for granted, right? But also on the same note, you can really easily not deal with stuff because you are this brand new, and all the bravado and machismo and sense of accomplishment. Now you're a this, or you're an airman, you're a soldier. For us, you're a United States Marine. Like that's a big fucking deal. You know what I'm saying? And
and as you stick around, I'm sorry, yeah. The Bible,
go ahead.
Like, as you stick around, man, you bury things deeper. You bury things deeper because now you become the person they're coming to. You become the person that people are looking up to for help. You become the person that they're coming to for assistance. So you don't have time to really, per se, take care of you because you're taking care of those around you. And we preach that, and that's fine.
You can hide behind that too. You can hide behind the unselfish card a whole lot.
And that's it, man. And a lot of people do. And, Ace always asked the question, and I always said I was going to write a book on it, but I'm not real smart. That's why I took a storytelling class with ASAP, because you ain't got to use punctuations. You can just talk. You can just tell a story. You ain't got to write one. Yeah. That comes from my PhD from West Virginia, old public high school diploma. And but that storytelling is real, man. And I used to always ask the question, who leads the leaders? Who leads the leaders? And I think that's a hard one when you really sit back and think about it. When you become that person, you're just it. You ain't got time to talk about your day. You ain't got time to vent about what's going on with your life because you're taking care of those around you. And that's the organization. It doesn't matter whether you're in the Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force, CEO, whatever. Once you move up to those management and CEO positions, your life's on hold, dog, because the business has got to run. Mm-hmm. And the business only runs if the people run. So it don't matter what organization you're in or what business you're in. When you're moving into management and CEO positions, who leads the leaders? Who's checking in with me?
Yeah. Who's the chaplain's chaplain, right?
That's right. Yeah, boy, them boys got some tough jobs. Yeah.
Man, you talk about, a lot of people, not obviously everybody's good at everything, right? But there's some amazing people that are chaplains out there, man, that really do genuinely care. And the crazy thing is you can tell them anything. I just don't want to know sometimes the stuff that's rolling around in their heads, like the ability to detach off that conversation and move on about your day and maybe have another similar conversation with somebody else. That is a lot of weight to carry. Shout out to all the chaplains. Some of the best people I know in the world are chaplains. I really do love the Chaplain Corps and what it stands for. And some people just affiliate with them and automatically associate them with religion, but it's not. Like, their job is to facilitate religion in their own faith, but also make sure that you get the faith that you need if you have something unique or something that's not on their collar, but also to care and to advise, right? That's their job, is to care and to advise. And honestly, some of them suck. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
But just like if you work at Costco, there's going to be that one dude on aisle 3, fucking Tim, always fucking shit up, Tim. You know what I mean? It don't matter where. Tim's the chaplain too. Tim's a CEO. Tim's a senior enlisted leader. Tim plays for the Minnesota Vikings. You know what I'm saying?
I feel sorry for if your name's Tim. Yeah, listen.
I love you, Tim. I'm just playing. I know a lot of good Tims out there. You get what I'm saying? Tim Lulis, I love you, bro. Big fofo, I love you, bro. But some good Tims. But the fact of the matter is, there's people of all different types and shades. But man, you're so right. Like, who leads the leader? So how can we avoid that? And like, now looking back and maybe your mistakes or your victories with it, what can somebody do that's in it right now? Not just waiting to the end of their career to really get real about shit. And, some people are going to hear this and they go, oh, must be fucking convenient. You guys are all old in the military. What about me? I'm a fucking E3. What about me? And my sergeant said stop being a bitch and go back to work. Or my petty officer second class said stop being a bitch. My chief said it's good that y'all outrank them, and that's good for you because I've heard that from the young masses a lot. And I kind of asked you two things that are hard to answer there, but You heard it. So.
Yeah, I think they all tie into one though, and I don't know if it was Brad that talked about it or one of the other shows I was listening to. They talked about using those resources and using those people. Those people are there for a reason. The therapists, the chaplains, the counselors, the MFLACs, the whatever else they got out there. Like they're there. They want to help. That's their job. That's their passion. That's what they have a degree in. That's what they went to school for. That's what they study. They want to help, and that's what they exist for. So let them help. But we're
help
quick
them
to
help
be like,
you by speaking up, right?
That's it, man. Let them help you. And I think we don't use them enough. And I guess when you talk about the younger individuals that are wanting to seek that help, I would be upset to know that if they can't seek that help, if they can't get that help, if somebody's preventing them from that. And I think if that was identified, it'd be fixed real quick.
Facts. I do too. I think nowadays it may still exist. It probably does. I know it does because people have told me, and it hurts my stomach and it hurts my soul. But I guarantee you that there are some key individuals at maybe higher positions or flanking positions that would be like, "What the fuck they said?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Stigma's real, and I will say this, and I say the stigma's real, and I'm not apologizing for saying that because it is real, and it exists. I went my immediate Marines in my section knew, my staff NCOs knew that I was going to this inpatient therapy. My boss knew. Outside of that small circle, not a lot of people knew where I was going. And when I came back, man, I've been gone for 30 days. I took a couple of days of leave on the back end in Utah just to kind of get in the mountains and sort some things out before I came home. And but here I am, man. I come back. I've been gone for a month. And my biggest fear was coming back to work. I'm an E9.
Wow. Yeah.
And my biggest fear was coming back to work because I knew when I came back, in the back of my head, I knew in the back of my head, I was going to get judged. And so what I did, and you talk about stigma, I came to work at like 5:15, 5:30 in the morning. Because I knew if I'm just at my desk, that big machine been rolling the whole time I've been gone.
Right.
And if I'm at my desk, people are just going to walk by and be like, oh, hey, Alan, you're back. Hey, check it out. Can I get... And they just roll
Yeah.
right back into it. I never even been gone in their eyes. And that's what I did, man. I came back to work super early just so I'd just be there. And nobody saw me come in, per se. And I had to really check myself with that. And that hurt me. That hurt me to know that if I did that, how many others are doing that? How many others are scared of that part? And I think that's one thing that, we got to address is one, it's not just seeking help. It's not just getting the help. It's bringing them back into the fold when it's over.
Man, I'm so glad you said that, dog. Like, because they talk about five key leader functions. I talk about this all the time when it comes to Kosk and Oscar. But you strengthen, you mitigate, you identify, you treat. We're pretty good at the SMIT, but where we really suck is the R, the reintegration, because now I see you come back, and I see at the smoke pit everybody like, oh, y'all, let Alan back. Must have been fucking nice. Now you got all these follow-up appointments he going to and shit. Now, you might have addressed the problem. Let's say that it was like a 7. I'm over here stifling a 9, but I'm over here smoking my cigarette or vaping over here real cool, watching how they're treating you, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm never seeking help in this fucking place because look at the stigma and look at the branding that this person just got, right? And I heard in the recruiting efforts, right? I heard Sergeant Dakota Meyer say it recently. He said the reason why we have a lot of problems with recruiting is people that get out after 4 years and tell everybody the Marine Corps sucks or the Navy sucks or the whatever sucks for the rest of their lives. Or the ones that'll be like, I'll never let my fucking kids join or anything like that. Like, what's that message to the ones around you? So it's like that's part of reintegration, right? And it's how we treat the ones that we have that have sought the help, that have served. What is their story afterwards? Like, well, actually, when I got back, they were actually pretty decent to me. Or did they patronize me and be like, hey, mister, you were an E6 and you were in charge of a division or a platoon, but is it okay if we ask you if you could maybe just take out the trash? Like, what the fuck? That's some demeaning stuff. You know what I mean? And it kills all of the messaging, not to mention, how that person feels. But then what's really crazy is that person that is a 7, they sought the help, they're back, now they feel like shit for it. But that person that's maybe dealing with even more intense things or is on the verge, they're like, I'm never seeking help here, man.
Yep.
And it's all the things. It's all the things of when we walk into a brief and everybody goes, man, get the fuck out of here. Don't nobody care. You just killed the messaging or what could be. Like, I see it so many times. Or you see a higher up just come in and sign a roster real quick and get the fuck out. And it's like, oh, man, you just told us how much you give a fuck about that, ma'am or sir, right? But I'm an E3 and I got to sit here during this fucking brief and talk about this or that, right? Just all the little shit. It's like the passive-aggressive little things. I think they have more negative impact than if somebody just came out and called you a bitch, in my opinion.
Yeah, that reintegration. Yeah, it was a rant, but I appreciate it. I like your rant.
I put the R in rant and reintegration, motherfucker.
That reintegration's real though, man, and I think that's an important piece, and it's tough, man. When you come back, you got to think, man. I left. I'll just take my story for example. I unloaded all my dark on my wife, all the past, all the trauma, everything, and then went as far as to tell her, I'm willing to lose you to find myself. Oh yeah, see ya. And now I've been gone for that whole time. And I've been working on me, dude, like working on me. So when I come back after 4 weeks, after a month, she's just been stewing. She's still going to work. She's still getting the little one to school. She's still doing all the things that she does in life. Plus, because I'm not there now.
Yeah.
And here comes that reintegration piece. I've just changed my whole life, man. Oh, I'm great now. And then you walk into that piece, and it's a tough place, man, because you've been taught all these tools and all these things and all these triggers and all these whatever. And you just come in and you inject that. Uh-huh. And it was tough, man. It was a tough come home because I would tell her, oh, you know what? When you say that, that makes me feel like this. So I would hope that you wouldn't say that again. But you know what? When you do that, it irritates me this way. And she finally, man, she hit me clean one time, and things got scary for a minute. And, she told me, she was like, you went out and you worked on you. I was still here. You can't just show back up and be a brand new person and expect me just to change everything about me when I've been walking on eggshells for the last X amount of years to appease you.
Right,
and
right.
That's not just my wife per se. You can integrate that scenario into anywhere, man. And then people come back from therapy, they've been given all the right tools. Yeah. And then we don't allow them to apply their tools. That's the hard part.
Wow, man, this is getting real. Like, this is why I called this show Real Resilience Talk, because this is the real side of it. This is the what happens after, and that's the sustaining that, right? Or we talk about the sustaining the transformation or enhancing the transformation is what I like to call it. How do we build upon that and not regress? Or, because I've said this before on the show. I know you've heard me and we've said it in private conversation, but Will Smith, man, I know he's done a lot of work on himself, right? And I know people think he's in the Illuminati or whatever the fuck, or they don't like his music. That's fine. I'm just saying an example we all know well. I know he's done some work on himself, but even after all that work and after all these different accomplishments, he still relapses or regresses to the point of, obviously we know about the slap and the smack and all that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. But we can do that too after even seeking all of this help, being on medication, doing all these right things, learning all these tools, and then you just instantly just go back. And it reminds me too, when you say dealing with you or walking on eggshells, I remember, like, when I first quit drinking, like, things were not perfect because this person was used to dealing with somebody who had a certain rhythm to their life.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
I've heard of a lot of couples that they're like, you or me or drinking, and then they'll quit drinking. But then it's like, I don't even like you, or I don't even know you as non-drinker, but we can't just stop. You can't just stop or cease and then not progress in another direction. I've seen that happen. That's not, if you're out there suffering and alcohol is ruining who you are, still fucking stop, okay? But what I'm saying is there's a delicate balance there of transition. You can't just stop and then, hey, y'all deal with me now. I'm better because I don't drink. No, you're still an asshole, actually, for all these other reasons, and you still have to grow as a person and then still have that grace and that patience with the ones around you. And that's hard because you're like, fuck, man, I tried to do the right thing, and now I fucked everything up. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. It's not easy to come, man. I did. I came back, and I was processing stuff in that place, man. When I say childhood, man, I went back to being 6 years old again. And that's the stuff I was processing. I was processing stuff when I was like 6 years old. Stuff that I put so deep down inside that I had forgot about some of it, like blacked it out of my life. And it came up, and those are the things I was working through. I'm working through things that I was like 6 years old in my life. Some traumas when I was like 6 years old in my life. So you can imagine when I come home, I'm brand new me. I'm Mark Allen.
Yeah.
I'm brand new me. Nah, man, it don't work like that. And it got tough, and it got scary for a minute. And thank God I got a resilient wife. Thank God I got a wife that loves Mark Allen and was able to stick it out and was able to say, hey, you know what, stop. We need to take this a little bit slower. And you're absolutely right. I went through that moment. I went through that moment of great. Everything that I did, everything that I went through, everything that I just came from, that's shit. It don't matter. It don't matter what I try. I don't do anything right. Everything I do is fucking wrong. Everything I do. I even went for 4 weeks. I went and left and went 4 weeks inpatient, and it still ain't good enough.
Yep.
We go through it, man. But again, I go back to that piece of resilience, and I had a resilience wife on my end that kind of held me there. And it took a lot of resilience in myself, too, to say, hey, you know what? You did get the help. Step back. Now let's look at these triggers. What's triggering me to this point? What's got me to that point? What made me feel like this? What can I do to eliminate this piece?
Right.
It's tough, man. That growing piece is tough. I don't know if I made any sense just now whatsoever.
No, it does, because it's real. It's not like, okay, I go say I need therapy and everything's fixed. I think some people assume that that's the way it is, and there's no fucking perfect in this world, y'all. There's no perfect. Man. There's no. But is it going to make anything worse? Yes or no? And then go from there and then try some different shit out. And it wasn't the first time you went to therapy. You got it. Things figured all out. But I would think from hearing this that you're better off now than you were before, which is good.
Oh, for sure.
Progress. And knowing you and the conversations we've had, I know you don't regret seeking help, right?
Nope.
And you're a better you now. But there's still much more work to do, and that's life. Like, there's still work to do, and it's sometimes I feel like you take 2 steps forward and 8 steps back. I feel like that on so many fucking days. Like, I'm really letting this bother me or that or whatever, and it's like, okay, stop, apply the tools. Okay, what am I doing right now? Am I overthinking? Because I'll be a negative motherfucker, man. I'll tell you right now. But I will say, in all actuality, and I'm not some what do they call it, toxic positivity, where it's like you can't even acknowledge like everything's always perfect, and no, that's not real. Like, that's not real. Like, things suck, and I feel sad, and I'm fucking mad today, sometimes for no fucking reason at all, right? But I do know for sure that I have never had a shitty day, and I've had a bad attitude or poopy pants mentality, and it's ever made that shitty day better, ever, fucking ever. Never once, right? And like bitching and stewing and stuff, but then you're like, but Cam, you're supposed to express things and vent, and you need to let things out, and it's like, no, but you could sit there too long, and in the wrong time and place, and you just go downward spiral, and that's where I think, I mean, I'm not trying to steal their shit, but I thought it was so genius with those 5 questions, like, what does it feel like, and then. What do others do that makes it feel better? What do others do that make it feel worse? What do you do that makes it feel better? And what do you do that makes it feel worse? Because I'll be honest, I have been my own worst enemy on so many days, whether it's because of drinking and self-medicating in that way, or catastrophizing, or plotting out all of these evil things that the whole world is out to get me. And I'm like, and my wife's like, oh, you're over there doing that extremist thing again. I'm like, shut up. Okay. You know what I mean? Because... it's those 5 questions really, really are helpful. Look up them, y'all. 1 degree of separation. Those 5 fucking questions. That how does it feel? What do others do to make it feel worse? What do others do to make it feel better? What do you do that makes it feel worse? And what do you do that makes it feel better? That's that ownership shit, because it really does. People are there to help you, but it comes down to us saying, do I want to feel better or not? Like, and sometimes we choose to feel like shit. I mean, I know I have.
Yeah, man. I'll kind of try to. I don't know if there's any way to tie in everything that I've talked about, because I went all over the map.
I love it. It's real. That's real life.
Because I know you and I both could go on forever, and I don't want to do that to people listening, because they don't drive very far to work when they listen to you. But the reality is, man, I think the message that I wanted to say at the very end of this, or to kind of wrap up my part, is it's scary to get help. It's scary. It's not fun. You have to humble yourself. You got to check yourself at the door. The process in the military is not always easy. A lot of times there's a wait. You finally make the decision to go get help, and then you get there. You tell them what you want. You tell them you need some help, and they say, "Okay, well, we ain't got an appointment for 2 more months." And in 2 more months, you're like, you know what? Screw it, I'm out. I'm not coming back. That was my one shot. So I would say to anybody that's listening that, that maybe they heard something throughout this podcast that struck a nerve, that hit home, that made sense, or that gave them some confidence. It's okay if it takes 2 weeks. If it's okay if it takes 3 weeks. That just means you're going to keep hanging on for 2 weeks. You're going to keep hanging on for 3 weeks. You're going to keep hanging on for 2 months. And you're going to get to where you need to get. The process of the help is tough. And ensure you know who you're talking to in the chain. Don't make the same mistake that little Staff Sergeant Allen made when I went to go get some help. And I went in, and then the first doc I talked to was just a doc. He just a doc, the sick called doc. And he asked me, he's like, have you had any, how's this, how's that? Have you had any thoughts of suicide? How often do you think about suicide? I'm like, I think about that shit daily. And he was like, okay. So when you say that, what do you mean? I was like, I hate the dude in the mirror. I hate shaving my head. I hate shaving my face. Sometimes I won't even look at the person in the mirror. I'll do it in the shower so I ain't got to see that dude. And I think, I said I wanted to get some counseling, so I think this is the counselor. This wasn't nothing but a sick call doc. That dude came back and he was like, I need to ask you a couple questions. Where's your wife? Where's your child? Do you have any weapons at your house? Where are those weapons currently? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Where's this going? He's like, well, we're going to go ahead and admit you. And my first thought is, bitch, you ain't admitting nobody. You're lucky I came in here and told you all these things. My second thought is, the minute that I flip out on this dude, that's 6 more red flags, and I'm really going to get locked up. So I'm like, hey man, like, this ain't something I just woke up with this morning. Like, this is some stuff I've been dealing with for a long time. I'm good. Like, I'll make it tomorrow. I just need to get some help. And luckily he let me go. I got to call to Master Guns, and Master Guns had to vouch for me and tell me I got him. And they let me go. But I say that now to say, don't let those things defeat you. Because, by the time I get to the next doc, I had to ask her straight up, like, what can I tell you? How real can I be about this conversation? Because I can get real, but how real can we get?
Right.
And so what I would say to any of the listeners, man, is fight through the red tape per se to get to the next level. And then when you get the help, just know that once you get it, it ain't perfect. You're going to mess up 30 more times when it's all over. Matter of fact, you're probably going to mess up worse when you come out, because you think you got all the answers now, and you ain't got none of them. And you've probably been dealing with trauma, and you're probably addressing trauma that runs deep, and you ain't even scratched the surface yet. So don't be afraid to tap in and address the things that's scary, man. Because if we can get down and we can address those deep, dark secrets, it's scary and it sucks, and you don't want to tell nobody about them. But that's the cleansing piece, man. That's the cleansing piece. And that's when cleansing starts to happen. And my journey ain't nowhere near over, Cam. It ain't nowhere near over. I'm still driving every single day. I heard somebody the other day say, how you doing? And how's life? And it's like, well, life's a roller coaster, but I'm tall enough to ride.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good way of looking at it, man. I'm still
and that's
trying
what
to
I
figure
am.
this shit out.
Every day is a corkscrew. Every day is a loop. Every day, I don't know if the wheels are going to fall off, but I do know that every single day, I'm going to get up, strap in, and see what happens. And it ain't going to be perfect. But I'm going to strap in. I'm going to ride the roller coaster. But I don't know if I tied any of that in together, man. I say it all the time. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. Yeah. And that's just real talk.
It really is, man. It really is. I appreciate the willingness to express those things. And, I hope nobody walks away here like, oh, I definitely don't want to seek help now. Nah, if you want to get to the real cleansing, to the real getting better, you got to go through those things. But we can't expect it to just be like, here's this pill, or here's this one session, or here's these 5 questions, or this 7 steps, and everything's going to be better. Like, that's called a hustle, motherfucker. Like, that's not going to make, like, all these things can be helpful and aid and assist you, but, like, there's really no secret to this shit. And like this man said, he's been going at this for a while. I know I've been going at it for a while. and it's still got to put in work, man. And it's the same way we look at our physical fitness or our spiritual fitness or our social fitness. It's the same thing. We got to look at our mental health fitness as well, man. And it's you can't not work out and then expect to be strong. It's just not going to work out. And you can't not work on these things and expect to be mentally fit, spiritually fit, socially fit, all of these holistic things to make the best version of you. And we're here anyway. We might as well try that. And you know what it feels like to feel like shit. So nothing changes and nothing changes. Try something new, man.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, man, I hope I made some sense in there somewhere, man. We got a decent message today, I hope.
I think it did, man. And I just want to tell you, thank you for who you are and what you do and, your art and I know people are like, oh, it's courage to be vulnerable. No, it does, man. it really fucking does to share that shit. Some people, this is their worst fear in life is to say these things out loud, let alone to anyone else but to themselves. So I'll just tell you, thank you, man. I love you. Crabgrass, y'all, that's some real shit. I'm telling you, man, I'm about to get crabgrass. People are like, what the fuck is that tattoo you got? I'm like, this crabgrass, that shit grow everywhere. And I just got it coming out like my like clavicle and shit. And it's like, no, I could grow out of like cement and everything. That motherfucker don't stop, dog. That's me. I'm crabgrass. But no, it's real. It's resilience. And it's
now, man, I appreciate what you do. Moving. I appreciate what you do, man. I really do. And I love you for it. And I tell you that all the time. I appreciate what you do. And, you say it all the time. If you don't like something, fix it. And that's what you're doing right now. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from my side. I read this quote the other night, and I wanted to send it to you, but I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to say it to him out loud.
Love it.
And I don't know who said this. Some dude said this, a social media influencer. Then I dug deeper and found out that Tony Robbins said something like it, and then they made their own thing. That's cool. It said, true hell is when the person that you are meets the person you could have been. And I think the original quote came from Tony Robbins, and he said, hell on earth would have been to meet the person you could have been.
Damn.
And I think that's real, man. And that's why I've decided, I'll be as open as possible. You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. I don't care how deep it goes. Because I don't want to meet me one day and be like, dang, I could have helped that person if I just would have been me. Yeah. So,
man, Mark, I appreciate you, bro. You are a real one, my friend, and I appreciate you, dog. And I love you always, man. Always here for you. We gotta do them. This man checks on me regularly, y'all. A friend is like, hey, man, post check, hey, com check, where you at? And sometimes we gotta do that for each other. So, try to be a light to others, man. This shit is not easy, but it's. Life ain't perfect, but damn, man, I'm going to tell y'all right now it's worth it. And you don't never know how, all the shit he went through, like, hopefully that resonated with somebody listening today, because sometimes maybe you only go through things because people need people, and you're that person that shows somebody else the way, and maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, to try to find a beauty, something in the struggle that can help. I know some people go, oh, that's corny, that's fucking whatever, you don't know what I'm going through. You're right, I don't. But how's that mentality working out for you? You know what I'm saying? If you don't like something, change. If you can't change it, change your attitude, right? And like I always say, man, like it or not, we all we got, good or bad. This too shall pass. And Mark, I just want to ask you, because I always ask everybody recently, if someone's in that moment right now and they're like, man, fuck this life shit, I'm done, I'm sick of this, what would you say to that person, dog?
You had a guest this the other day that took the words from my mouth. Wait. That's a powerful word, man. It's wait. You said it not too long ago. You've made it through every difficult part of your life because you're here today. So even on your worst day when you couldn't take it no more, you made it past it. Just wait. Just wait. Because you are somebody. Every single one of us are somebody. And most people that decide to take their life, they leave a text, they leave a letter, they leave a phone call, they leave something. Because there was somebody in their life that meant something to them. And the fact behind that is you were that somebody. Wait.
I can't say no more on that, man.
I love you, bro.
I love you, man. Thank you. Hey, and to all of y'all out there listening, man, if this helps, please share it. I hope it does. And if you ever listening and you want to be a guest, you got something you want to share that could maybe help somebody else out, hey, I can't read minds, man. Help me help you. Let's get that message out there. Maybe it'll help somebody. And like I always tell everybody, man, this show is sponsored by Nobody, baby. I love Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat, the man. Y'all be good. That's the sounds of Monchichi Rex. Appreciate you, Mark. Love you, bro. Kill!